This resume tip video number 5, we're going to be covering the use of power words and content that sells. Now, if you haven't seen the previous video on resume tips number 3 and 4, where you're selling your skill sets and you're also quantifying your results, you may want to refer to that video first before you go on to this video and continue watching, only because some of this is going to relate back to the previous video and those previous resume tips. So just be aware of that as I go through this, as I'm going to refer to that probably as I go through this use of power words and verbs. So, but basically the purpose of this tip is to basically help you understand the importance of the words you actually use when you're describing your skill sets and qualifications. Now, you know, oftentimes when I would review resumes and look at resumes and things like that from candidates that came in, they weren't very powerfully written. They weren't, and so, you know, sometimes it's hard to describe your work experience. You know, if you are used to just saying, you know, I gave this, or I did this, or I did that, or I worked with this. I mean, yeah, you're using some words there to kind of describe your situation, but you want to use more powerful keywords and verbs that are going to more expressly describe the type of experience and skills that you have. One, not only are you going to come across as more professional in that sense, but at the same time, you'll be able to describe it in a better light, and it'll stand out. I mean, it's definitely going to stand out for somebody who may be reviewing it, like a recruiter, an HR director, manager, you know, whoever. So if you look at my example here, probably the easiest way to do this is to just kind of go through this. So if you look at the typical verbs here on the video, gave work assignments to staff of entry-level recruiters. Okay, well that's great, but if you think about the concept of that, if I gave work assignments to the staff recruiter or to other recruiters, then that probably means I supervised them or trained them or was in charge of them in some way. So why not use, you know, keywords that more expressly relate the fact that you actually manage them or that you actually were in charge of them at one point? You know, right now, as I read that particular bullet point, that all it really tells me is, okay, you gave work assignments to them. For all I know, you were the assistant, and so you were assigned to give them sheets of paper just to let them know what their assignments might be for the day, or maybe I was giving them emails or something like that. So, you know, you want to make sure that as you're describing your experience here, that you use specific power words, as I call them, or verbs, that are going to not only match the level of the position that you're seeking and the one that you're actually applying for, but also matches your level of experience. So if this was indeed a management role, look at the power word section now. So it looks like I put directed workflow, supervised, trained recruiting staff to better qualify the candidates. You know, and then look at the results. Resulted in an increased interview to hire ratio by 47%. So that goes back to the previous video about quantifying the data. So I've kind of mixed that here. But those key words there, those power words, that's where you're gonna be set apart. The directed workflow, supervised, trained. Now I have a much better understanding that you were indeed in charge of them instead of just an assistant giving them work assignments, because of the keywords that were used, such as direct, supervise, and train. So these are powerful verbs that can be used to help describe the types of skill sets and the qualifications that you hold that are unique for the position that you're applying for. So when you think about the level of position you're applying for, again, you may want to refer back to some of the previous resume tips. You definitely want to make sure that you're creating power words that are going to stand out and are really going to reflect the type of position you're applying for, so that organization will be interested in contacting you. So what I've done on the site, just to kind of show this to you, if you come here to the resume samples, you notice the link is right up here at the top. If you click on this, it'll take you to the resume sample page. The purpose of this page is to help you with some of those keywords and phrases, because what happens is you may not know exactly how to word it, or you may not know exactly how to describe it. And so when I do a lot of help with candidates, I'll actually sit down with them and we'll come up with some of these keywords. So what I wanted to do here was provide a way for you to kind of think up some of these keywords. And so what I've done is, you scroll down, you'll notice there's this resume sample list, and all it is these are just specific job categories. And so let's say that you're a salesperson. You can click on the sales sample resumes, and then what this will do is this will bring up a list of actual sample resumes with keywords and things like that you can actually preview and look at and possibly use in your own resume. Now you'll notice this is kind of a work in progress. Not all of these are available yet. You'll notice some of them don't even have a link yet, and that's just because I haven't created that yet. So as I go, you'll see this list expand. And obviously, if you want to get some samples for a specific job category, and maybe your category is not ready yet or your position is not ready yet, by all means shoot me an email, support@freeresumetips.net. You're welcome to send me an email and just say, hey, you know what, I noticed one of the positions on your list, or maybe I didn't see a list on your position on your list, and I'd like you to create it for me because it's something I'm needing help with. I'll go ahead and create it for you and send you the link so that way you've got that information. But you'll notice when you come here, if you click on one of these, I'm just going to click on one of these as an example. What this is going to do is this is going to show you some possible power words and keywords and phrases that might help you in accomplishing this particular tip. So the great part about this section is going to show you some of these specific keywords and some of these areas, if you will, or descriptions that you could probably integrate into your own resume to not only make it stand out, but keep in mind, you know, a lot of resumes nowadays are resume systems and softwares that a lot of clients now are starting to, or a lot of companies are starting to use, like applicant tracking systems and things of that nature. Some of those systems are designed to automatically filtrate and eliminate people that don't meet some of the skill sets. And sometimes they'll use keywords for that. So if your keywords and the sample words are not in there, they're not in your resume, unfortunately you might be eliminated and never even have a chance to get interviewed. So use this as an example, and obviously refer back to tips number 1 and 2 in regards to looking at the actual job application and the job description details that they give you, because they'll reveal some of the keywords they're looking for right away. But hopefully this will help you. So like I said, if you want to come here, you can look up different positions that are available, and definitely work on those power words and make sure that you use words that not only define and describe what you did, but are very relevant to the position that you're applying to.